Content warning. This episode includes discussion of suicide. Listener discretion is advised. This episode of the Internal Comms podcast is brought to you by AB, the world's longest established internal communications agency. Since 1964, AB has been trusted by many of the world's most complex, most high-profile organisations with their employee communication. From robust, comprehensive audits to creative campaigns, we deliver bespoke solutions and measurable results. To see case studies of our work and to discuss your next internal comms challenge, email us at hello@abcom.co.uk. AB, crafting award-winning internal communication for more than 60 years. Hello and welcome to the Internal Comms podcast with me, Katie Macaulay. This is a show devoted to improving the way we communicate at work. Every fortnight, I sit down with a leading comms practitioner, author, consultant or academic, and together we explore ways to make people feel more heard, more involved, more inspired and motivated at work. I have a very special guest in the podcast studio today, the playwright and poet and broadcaster Lemn Sissay. Lemn self-published his first book at the age of 17. Poetry collections, plays and programmes for TV and radio followed. But none of this success came easy. This is a conversation about finding your path, finding your identity, finding your voice and your story. It's about belonging, it's about creativity, it's about storytelling. Lemn explores many of the things that we champion as internal comms folk: belonging, inclusion, storytelling, values and ethics and authenticity. But he does it from a very personal and incredibly insightful place. So sit back and listen to the wisdom, the wit and the warmth of Lemn Sissay.
Your PowerPoint, if you use PowerPoint, I don't tend to use PowerPoint,
No.
but I should.
Do you think?
Yeah, because I'm a speaker. You know what I do is I've spent all my adult life on stage,
Yes.
in one way, shape or form.
Yes,
right. That's
yes.
as an actor, that's as a poet, as a writer, and as a speaker, as giving TEDx talks, etc. Doesn't mean I'm good, by the way. It just means that I've spent my life on stage in one shape or another. Well, the beauty of the PowerPoint, and it's misnamed, you know, because if you're going to use images, they are your friend. They are a conversational ally. They are telling you to look in a different direction so that you can see a different angle on a particular topic, etc., etc. They're an exciting sort of clothing.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
for the conversation.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I like it.
Yeah. And that's as simple as that. I don't use PowerPoint, and I have recently a couple of times, because I think it makes me feel locked in, kind of, like into that clothing.
Yes.
When I was a chancellor at the University of Manchester, I used to have to wear a suit all the time. I used to get slightly irritated at being besuited. I like a suit, but just having to wear it all the time. Similar with PowerPoint. But the fact is, a good suit is a good suit. Yeah. And actually, there's a difference. Actually, when you start to get into the suit world, you can really break it down, It's
interesting.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
It is. And actually, you can look at distressed suits, and you can look at great designers that will do things to suits that, you wouldn't believe, but it's still a suit.
Yes.
So anyway, aside from that, one thing that's guaranteed to happen is that the comms will go wrong. that something will go wrong with the clicker,
Yes.
or with the battery, or with the tech person, or with the screen, or there are so many elements of it going
Yeah.
wrong. So why has nobody devised a perfect section to bring in any time that the tech goes wrong? Come on. So here's the thing. The tech goes wrong, and you look at the audience and you say to the audience, this happens. And when this happens, statistically, 90% of us fall apart, but 10% of us rise. And the reason we rise is because we are not afraid of the screen breaking, because the screen breaking could be the making of this conversation.
Yep.
It could tell us something about our lives and the fact that this happens and magic can come out of it.
Yes.
Because now it's just you and me.
Fabulous.
Okay, so I just thought, wow, of all the brains and all the people that have worked with PowerPoints,
Yeah.
I've never seen somebody say, as soon as it breaks, say, and now the talk is really on.
Love it.
And they have a section that you can bring any time.
What great advice.
So
I'm keeping this in, by the way.
Please do keep it in, because we are so concerned with being on point that sometimes we miss the magic. You know, and that's me. You know, I'm talking about me. I'm not lecturing to anybody else here. You know, I'm so concerned about getting it right that I get locked in to a very, what I think is fluid. Hey, listen to me speak. But actually, when something goes wrong, when the PowerPoint goes, I'm all in bits.
Yeah.
I'm all, oh gosh, it's not working. Oh, tech. Oh God. Oh, and the audience starts to rumble, don't they? You
Yes.
start to talk, and you like, oh, we'll be with you in a minute, and then somebody runs on stage. Sorry, folks, we'll be with you, and it's all confusion.
Yes. Yes.
You know, so
But
it's a
be
real
ready.
opportunity.
Yeah, use it.
For us to actually have a whole comedic section, or
Yeah.
a whole reality check.
Yes. I love it.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm
Fantastic
talking
advice.
to you. Yeah, it's
Great advice.
yeah. I'm glad you allowed me to speak about speaking.
That's gold, though.
Recently.
That's
Yeah,
gold.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times that exact thing has happened to me, and
Yeah.
now I know what to say.
Well, you sit down with a pen and paper or with something and think, right, what happens when this happens? Where do I want to go?
Yeah.
You know, where do I want to go?
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity for you to actually craft a 5-10 minute section, you know, which could be to do with anything which has got to do with comms.
Yes, exactly.
If it's guaranteed that things are going to break down, then that guarantee is a rich resource for opportunity.
Yes, very much so. Love it. Love it. I am going to bring you back
Yeah.
to the start of your day,
Yeah,
or the start of most days, because I think you've got a writing practice,
I have. Yes.
which has led to your latest book, Let the Light Pour In.
Yes, it has. I every single day, I write 4 lines and I put them out on my socials. So 4 lines. I'm a poet by trade. Okay, so it's 4 lines, and it rhymes on the second and the 4th line, and it's called a quatrain.
Quatrain.
And that's the technical term for it. But it's 4 lines. You find them in ballads.
Yes.
Very simple, and I put them out on Facebook and Instagram and X, because I'm old. You know, other people might find other places for them, and it's a way of me being able to start my day in some sort of engaging with something bigger than myself, I think. That sounds quite weird, but I want to engage with a creative process.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, I want to engage with the creative process. I want to do something that everybody can do. Anybody can do this. It's just 4 simple lines.
Right.
For example, how do you do it, said night? How do you wake and shine? I keep it simple, said light. One day at a time. I have to write them 4 lines first thing in the morning. That's my deadline from the moment I wake until noon. So ideally in the morning, but ideally early. And I put them out, and I've been doing it for 13, 14 years now. And
Wow.
there's no, I was going to say there's no rhyme or reason, but that's not true, is it? Yeah, and it's could be how I feel. It could be, here's one. I will build an embassy in your heart over time. There's a plot of land inside me. Build one in mine.
Oh,
You know, so it's possible to do. Okay, this is not
for you.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, what you've not seen is terrible ones. You know,
Okay.
when I do these 4 lines every day, remember you were loved. I felt your spirit grow. I held on for the love of you, and then for love let go. Okay, so what you're seeing in the book are the ones that are good. You know, the ones that really have that resonate. But actually, the opportunity every day is that I will write one that doesn't work as well, and that
Okay.
isn't as popular, and that isn't as good, you know. So I like the idea of beginning the day facing the fact that somebody may judge what I'm doing as being not good.
Well, that's where I was going to go next, around vulnerability, because it is quite a vulnerable thing to do, is it not?
Yeah.
Especially putting them out on social media.
Yeah.
It's not like screwing them away in your bottom drawer.
No.
You're putting it out into the world.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that vulnerability?
Okay, there's a couple of kinds of vulnerable, for me anyway.
Yeah.
There is, and I really want to talk this out. So, which one should I go for first? Okay, there's emotional vulnerability, okay? And then there is the professional vulnerability,
Ah.
okay? The professional vulnerability is where people in my profession who are, you know, writers and
Okay.
intellects and, you know, etc., will look at what I'm doing and think, oh, that's just the cheapest form of poetry that you could have, you know, that he's
Okay.
just trying to make it up in the morning and then put it out without properly editing it over time or leaving it to rest for years or what have you.
Okay.
And it's a rhyming thing. It's not free verse. It's not, you know, it's just 4 lines. So it's not a full poem. It doesn't allow itself to develop, you know.
Okay.
And then he throws them out, you know. You know, how dare he? Yeah, how dare he just throw them out and cheapen the idea of what poetry is, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, think about this with design. Think about it with a business leader trying to give out ideas for business,
Yes,
you know, and just
yes.
doing it every day, saying, you know, be at one with yourself, blah, 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 blah. Some people will think, oh, this is great. And some people in the profession may look
Yes.
across at him or her or
Yes.
them and say, you know, this person is really cheapening the idea of business.
Yes.
This person is cheapening the idea of art. This person is cheapening the idea of poetry. So on one hand, so I'm vulnerable because, you know, because there's probably a side of me which wants to be seen for the serious poet that I am and always have been.
Yes.
So now we're in the realm of ego, by the way.
Oh, Wes. Yes, we
Thinking
very
about
much
what
are.
other people are thinking about you, which is the end of all creativity.
Is it?
I think so, yeah.
Good. Ego out? No
the
ego.
ego, I think when it comes to creativity, I think the ego, which is thinking about what other people are thinking about me,
Yeah.
has to be left behind
Okay.
for the process of creation.
Okay.
For the process of creation, okay? What you then do with that creation
Ah,
is another matter altogether.
I've got you.
But for the when people often will want to write about their own life story, they will often say to me, oh gosh, I've got to wait till my father passes away and then I'll write the story. And they're worried about what the person will think, not of what they're writing, but what the person will think of them for writing, that
Yes.
their relationship may break. The thing is, you can write anything you want. You need to put your ego down and write it,
Okay.
like for all of its truth, and let the truth of it really run wild.
Okay.
But then what you do with it after that, whether you show it to anybody, whether you give it to a publisher, whether you show it to your father, whether you show it, that's another matter.
Right. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
This is a very important that you keep that sorry, I'm talking about myself, that I keep that space precious to explore the truth of an issue. And by truth, I don't mean literal truth. I mean push the metaphor, the symbolism, the analogy, the idea as far as you can.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're in dangerous territory here.
Yeah, yeah. We are, yeah. You're peeling away the layers. Yeah. Getting to the heart of the matter.
Right. And this is why, I want this place in the morning when I'm writing this poem to be a precious, hallowed space where I can say what I really want to say. Yes. And it's interesting because the more I do it, and I do put them out publicly, I definitely wonder whether I start to think about what other people are thinking about them. Anyway, this is an interesting conversation. So on one hand, the vulnerability is regarding what people in the business will think about me, my peers will think about me.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of great poetry out there as well, which takes years to write, or months, or what have you. Poetry should feel timeless, and it has a very strange time within a poem. Time is held within a poem.
Yes.
But it could take years to write.
Yes.
And it could take a second, a minute, 10 minutes.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? There are some great poems that have been written, they just happened, written by other people.
Yes.
There's a brilliant poem by, it's called Wild Geese. And I can't remember the woman's, Mary Oliver. It feels like it just fell from her.
Yes.
Oh my God, it's just incredible. Who knows? It could have taken years to write. It could have taken a minute.
Who knows?
Sometimes you can write a piece as well. You can write a piece and then you can think, I've got a lot to do on this piece. And then you look at it weeks later and it's just there.
Yeah.
It's already there. It's all in there. So exciting. So I do these 4 lines every morning, and the vulnerability is that I am facing my peers, knowing that some of them may be making judgments of it. So that's one vulnerability. And the other vulnerability is that you are exposing your ideas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're doing it if you're being true to that creative space, you're being true to the ideas. So
right.
you're saying what you believe.
Yes. Yes.
And that leaves you sort of vulnerable to somebody saying, well, that's rubbish. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or people just not liking it. Okay, so this is the one this morning. Lay her down by the singing tree and sing her a lullaby. Tell her the way to the sun will be the weight of a butterfly. And the picture that I put it with is by Nonita. Last night, the Sky News delivered a 40-minute documentary about a young woman called Nonita who took her own life at 18 years of age at the gap between Christmas Day and New Year's Day. She was in a children's home that was called The Singing Tree. And the painting that she'd made as a young person was this butterfly, this image of the butterfly. So here, let me read it again. Lay her down by the singing tree and sing her a lullaby. Tell her the way to the sun will be the weight of a butterfly. And I've just, so nobody actually knows that, but you do now. And this morning I was on Sky News talking about Nonita and the documentary which was released last night on YouTube. And the children's home that she was in was called The Singing Tree, and it's named in the documentary. And she said she was going to take her life in the way that she did, and then she did, and somebody needs to be answerable to it. Tonight, Samantha Morton, the actress, and Neil Morrissey as well, and quite a few other people will be at Quorum to have a discussion with the presenter of that documentary about Nonita and about young people in care taking their lives. I'm sorry, you didn't know this was going to take this turn, did you?
It's all right, Lem. It's all good. It's all good. I want to hear it.
But that's the kind of thing, that's the kind of weight that those 4 lines can hold.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
So, you know, and that's gone out on my socials. The documentary went out last night, and it clearly exposes some bad practice in the case of Nonita, and it proves it.
Yes.
But yes, yeah.
Why? And this might seem like a very silly question. I'm going to ask it in a way. Why poetry?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, everybody will have their thing. So that's a really good question.
Because you started really young writing
yeah,
poetry.
I did. I started, I knew I was a poet at 12 at school. I mean, I knew I was a poet. I knew I wanted to be a poet. And I made a BBC Radio 4 documentary called Child of the State in 2004. I think it was 2004. And in that documentary, I go back to the children's home, and one of the cleaners in the children's homes that I was brought up in just says from the background when I'm being interviewed, "I remember you writing your poetry." And that's a proof that that's who I was. And I have been back to my English teacher. I made a documentary on BBC with Alan Yentob, the late Alan Yentob, a great documentarist, where I went back to my school and met my teachers, and they spoke about me bringing my poetry into them and stuff. I say this because I don't have a family to record my existence as a child, so making documentaries has actually been really important for me to find, proof.
Yes.
That that's who I was.
Yes.
Sounds crazy, but
no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So you didn't have a family. There aren't any photographs. There's no stories. There's no shared experience.
There's no shared experience. So there's no one person collecting photographs. So there might be. I mean, fortunately, because I've spent my adult life then making documentaries about my life. 1995 BBC documentary called Internal Flight, where I found my father's crashed plane. And 2000, this one that came out a year ago, I think, and they go back to the children's homes, and they go back to they interview people and find out what happened and why, etc., etc. So I have through going back, I have now random photographs that people have sent me from different places. I didn't see a picture of me as a baby until I was. Till 2017.
Wow. Crazy.
When I was... shall I tell you the story?
I think you ought to tell listeners a story. In case they haven't read My Name Is Why, I think...
Oh, yeah, I've got a book called My Name Is Why, which I did about it. But my mum came to England in the late 60s.
Yes.
She was pregnant. She found herself pregnant. And then she was studying here, and then she was moved to the north of England to a mother and baby home where there was lots of Irish women in there. And I did a reading in Sydney recently with Colin Tobin.
Yes.
Irish brilliant writer. And he said the women that would have been sent to that mother and baby home will have been women who could afford the flights. Yeah. So he said there would have been a particular, it's just a little teeny bit of information that new information that I had. So she was in a mother and baby home. She was asked to sign the adoption papers while she was at her most vulnerable, like those other women were, and she refused to because she wanted me fostered for a short period of time. The social worker gave me to foster parents and said, treat this as an adoption. He's yours forever. His name's Norman. You've got to call him Norman. He said to them, and they wanted to call me Mark after Mark in the Bible. And so I thought my name was Norman Mark Greenwood. I thought my foster parents were the people who were my mum and dad forever. They said they were my mum and dad forever. They kept me till I was 12 years of age, and then they deemed that the devil was inside of me. They were very religious. And they put me into children's homes, and they said they'd never visit me, and never did, and I lost everybody.
Yeah.
So 12 years of age, I had like an emotional Hiroshima.
Yes.
I lost everybody: mother, father, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, cousins, granddad, grandma, Scotland, which is where my granddad was from, my town, my village, my church, very big on church. And I was left, having been told that the devil had taken me away from them, left in children's homes. And then I was held in four different children's homes and one apartment over the next 5 years, which meant that I moved children's homes about every year and 10 months from being 12. Yeah, but year and 10 months moved in children's homes. Staff changed every 4 hours in all of the different children's homes.
Goodness.
Children came in and left the different children's homes. So by the time I was 18 and they said to me, here's your birth certificate that had my real name on it, and here's a letter from your mother pleading for you back. This is what a social worker, he was so angry with what happened to me.
Yes.
He gave me my birth certificate. They had to legally give me my birth certificate because I was going to be an adult.
Yes, of course.
And they couldn't give it to an adult because there was no adult responsible for me. Right. So we talk about Nonita, this girl that I spoke about before, committing suicide at 18 years of age when she'd left care. It's this exact point. So they gave me my birth certificate. They said, oh, by the way, your name's not Norman Mark Greenwood. It's Lemn Sissay. That's your legal name. So here's your birth certificate. And here's a letter from your mother from the year that you were born, pleading to the social worker for you back.
Yes.
She said, I want Len back. I want him to be with his own people in his own country. I don't want him to face discrimination, which means that she must have faced discrimination because I mean, Ethiopia had an emperor, Haile Selassie. England had a queen. You know, Ethiopians loved the British. And also Ethiopians were never colonized. So we had no sense of being colonized. So we were just as proud as the British were proud of being British, and we had no breakage in our lineage. And so my mum was pleading to a social worker, asking for me back, and his name was Norman, and he'd named me after himself. And the foster parents told me that. That's why your name is Norman, because you're named after him. And I was like, but I didn't know that I had another name, and so my name was Lemn Sissay. Legally, that's the only name I could use when I left care. And then they left me, on my own. And I've got a radio documentary. In that same radio documentary, actually, Child of the State, one of my friends, a woman who became my friend, just tells me about the absolute devastation of my apartment, that I had nothing in it. It left me alone in a place with nothing in it.
Are you able... reading your book is hard going. It's a wonderful book, but don't read it on the train, anyone, because you're just going to be crying in public, as I was. And also, I listened to the audio version, so I had you read it to me as well, which was a wonderful experience.
Thanks.
Are you able to forgive that family? Because, and particularly I think your mother, but I'm probably only saying that because I am a mother and I've got 2 boys. I remember what they were like at 12. Can you do forgiveness?
So they left me at 12, and at 14 I slit my wrists. I tattooed I've got tattoos on me that I had at 13, 14. I was a middle class kid. I'm tattooing myself that's my first girlfriend, Diane Arnold, who we're very good friends now. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, I'm showing you my tattoos on my hand. Fortunately, I'm black, so, so this Indian ink doesn't come out as much as if I had white skin, right? So there's some advantages there. Well, there's lots of advantages, but
Forgiveness.
Yeah. And what they did is they left me with the blame. And
Yeah, that's
And,
the
and,
cruelest part of that story.
and people would say to me, yeah, but Len, why did you? Because people often think, kids in care are bad, kids in children's homes are bad. And they're like, well, yeah, but what did you do? And I'm like, that's exactly the question I asked myself. What must I have done? What must I be to have poisoned all of the people that I love, that I absolutely love, that I know nothing more than love for my grandma and my granddad and my mum and my dad. And it took me years to not call them mum and dad.
No, I
Because
bet.
there'd never been a time when they were not my mum and dad, even though they'd rejected me. I couldn't find foster mum sounded weird.
Yes, of
Because they
course.
trained me to
Yes.
call them mum and dad from I was a baby before I could speak. And they left me, and then I thought so I thought it must be my fault on some level, and I still am working through the idea that to be loved is not I don't know. The biggest lesson of my childhood was that if you love something, it's going to go away. That's what they left me with. And it was I've obviously done quite a bit of therapy as the years have gone on, so I understand the gravity of that and how maybe I believed that if I was to love, that it would go, it would disappear. That was the primary lesson they taught me. So I wasn't initially angry with them. I used to think that they would. I used to run away from the children's home and sit in the flower park across the road from the house and just stare at it and think, I couldn't understand how I wasn't part of going to see my aunties and uncles in Rochdale and go to see my grandma and my granddad. And the best way I can explain it to you is to look at your own child and say that at 12 years of age, they lose everything. And they have no access to the memory. They have no access to go back. Nobody is going to verify that they were the kid that they were from 12 down.
Yeah.
And so my main job in the children's homes was to make everybody smile. You see,
was that slightly a defence mechanism, or
oh,
did you?
It was all I had.
It's all you had.
It's all I had. I up until being 12, with the foster family that I thought were my real family, that said they were. Up until then, I thought, I've said this, but it's true. I thought everybody smiled in the world, and I didn't realise it was me smiling at the world, smiling back at me. I just didn't know. I thought the world is a smiling place,
right?
And I didn't know that it was me smiling and getting it back. And you can Google and you'll see pictures of me as a kid. There's one picture of me as a kid because I had to go back to my foster parents as an adult and say, I need to have some recognition of me as a child.
Yes.
But you can see I have got this big, beaming kind of smile. And, but I when I went into care at 12, I thought that there must be something wrong with that smile. There must be something... there must be something wrong with it. And so I went through thinking it was me. And then I went through thinking this is over years, So then I went through a point of thinking that that it was about race. I used to think it was because I'm a black kid. They were white, By the way, can I share something with you about race? Right. People don't get this, but this is my own theory. Okay.
I love a theory.
Okay. The majority tend not to see themselves by colour.
Yes.
Right? In any culture. So when you say the term white people, to a person who's white or to people who's white, it can feel quite strange in England.
Yes.
Okay, just to hear it. If you didn't grow up with it, it feels quite othering almost. It's like, wait a minute, I don't define myself as white. In Africa... Ethiopia, where I'm from, where my parents are from. I'm known to my people, by the way. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But you don't call anybody black.
No, why would you?
You wouldn't call anybody black. And if you said black, it could be, to some people, it would be an offence.
Right. Okay.
You know, it would be offensive to, and I can understand why any white person, quote unquote, would actually feel an affront by being called a white person in this country, in England
Yes.
or in Europe, because the majority do not identify themselves by colour.
No.
Anywhere in the world.
No.
Anywhere in the world. I'm not black in Ethiopia.
No.
Do you know what I mean? I might be dark-skinned or light-skinned or blah, blah, or whatever, but like the idea of being black is quite, actually, if I am black in Africa, in Africa, it will be in a black American affectation. Anyway.
Yeah.
Where were we? Sorry.
Forgiveness, I think.
Yeah. I was angry with them regarding race because that was an easy reach for me. I understood that they didn't understand race. They understood love. Isn't that amazing? They understood love, and love is a very powerful bonding agent between all of us, all of the time. So I understood that, and they understood that, but they didn't understand race. They felt like they were saving a poor black child from Africa, etc., etc. There was all kinds of misapprehensions. But I got to say, I know too many brilliant people who've been adopted by transracially, you know, and they're, you know, close friends. So it works, and love is a powerful, powerful bond. Doesn't excuse racism, but it is still, gosh, you know, regardless of the race of your parents, they can be racist.
Of course they can.
You know what I mean?
So true.
Whether you're adopted or not, whether you're adopted by white people or black people or whatever, you know.
Yes.
It's the nature of it.
It crosses the racial divide.
It crosses the racial. It's an equal opportunity. Racism is an equal opportunities employer. Gosh, we're going right deep here now. But suffice it to say that I could not forgive them for what they did to me in secret. You know, because they did all of this in secret. It was all tucked into my head and my heart, and then was given over to the social worker. The first time they called the social worker, he said, "You can't just get rid of him like that. It's not right." And then they did. You know, they said okay, and they kept me for a bit longer. And then coincidentally, it was at Christmas. It was just after Christmas. You know, I would love to know how many kids go into care at Christmas time and just after Christmas. But anyway, I found that I could not forgive them for the worst thing that had ever happened to me, and that it just kept recurring in my life, in relationships, in friendships, in you know, I definitely acted as if everybody would run away, and maybe I still do to a certain degree. But I did get to a point a few years ago where I did fully forgive.
You did?
Fully.
Really?
Face to face, yeah.
What did that feel like for you?
Well, I took it back the next day, but I forgave him. That's not true. I didn't take it back. I went to meet my foster mum. And went to meet her, and she brought her sister.
Okay, your auntie.
And
at the time,
her son was there as well. Yeah, and then I sat alone with her. Actually, I met her, and I walked her over near to Buckingham Palace Road in London because my uncle was preaching at a church there. My uncle Greg was preaching at a church there. And I sat her down and I forgave her, and she said, "Oh, you were a naughty boy." And what I realised was that the reason that they wouldn't visit me when they put me into care, when they said, "That's it, wash their hands of me," is because they had to go back to their own family and write the story of it being my fault for leaving them.
Right. Yes.
Right? They couldn't have me intervening.
No.
And that's when I realised that family is just a group of stories. At base, it's just a set of stories that we tell each other. And that's okay. that's okay. That's what it is. Baseline is, you look at your child, I would guess, and you're like, look, this is the story, okay? Don't question it. Stay with it. Question it later.
Yeah.
Right now, just grow. This is the story. I need this to solidify. I am your mum. This is your dad or your part. This is whoever. This is how it is. Our granddad is this. Well, we're from there. It's more complicated than that.
Yeah.
But really, you just need them to hold on to that. And actually, I don't think we do. I don't think you do. I think that our stories are complex and fluid and change. And, the more we accept that, the more empowered we are.
That's really interesting.
This is what I've got to now. But I might be wrong. This might just be theory.
But keeping a loose hold on those stories rather than really believing it too much, it might change. And I'm going to revisit that story.
So what happens is, do we keep hold of a loose story and then it becomes solid without us knowing? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you find yourself in a relationship and you're like, no, this is my story. You try to share the story and you're like, oh no, it's not fluid. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Wow. So I know these things through not having a family, through analysing these things, through not having that, not having that. I remember realising, wow, I have nobody to hold me in mind, the memory of me. And I thought, my God, this is where madness lies, if you, and actually it isn't. The human being, we are incredibly resilient and fluid and able to, accept. The moment we decide to accept, look, this is the way it is for me.
Yes. What would you go back now and tell that 12-year-old?
Oh, I would say to him, listen, you're going to get property quick. All right? Because you're going to be 19 years of age and you'll be a literature development worker in the heart of Manchester. You had no qualifications and you got that job, Lem. There's something about you. Invest in property at 19, okay? Like somebody will say to you when you're 19, put your money into a place. Do that, Lem, okay? I had no family, so I had no idea, absolutely no idea about property at all. Never bought until I was like 39. So I would say that. And I think that the beauty of property at 19 is that it is aspiration.
Yes.
And aspirations are free. And it's about valuing your oneself.
Yes.
And understanding, that you need to be housed.
Yes.
And you need to house others, and et cetera, et cetera.
But also there's a permanence to it, which you didn't have.
Yes. Yeah. I hadn't. Yeah, there is a permanence to it. Yeah. There is the idea of home.
It's yours. It's permanent.
You're right. And I actually, I realise that now. Get a place. What that represents, buying a home, is more important than the actual physical space, as you've just exemplified to me. And it's about aspirations. It's about giving yourself permission. It's about saying you are worth this.
Yeah.
And your future is going to be worth you investing in.
Yes.
And I did a lot of unhooking myself from the idea that I would invest in myself, because I was, a lot of not understanding that I need to be worth something. So I forgave my foster mother fully, properly, face to face, and regardless of what she said, by the way, to me.
Right. Well,
I'm not. If you're going to forgive somebody, you're not looking for them to give you any positive strokes.
It's such a good point.
It's not about that.
It can't be conditional.
It cannot be conditional. So important.
That's really interesting.
And so I fully allowed her to be whoever she was going to be. And remember, I didn't have a relationship with her, and I knew also that my presence would be traumatic to her, because if you've kept up a lie all of your adult life. And also, I had brothers and sisters. The lie had to be kept up for them.
Yeah.
I had aunts and uncles. It had to be kept up from them. I had a church, a whole church of people who were told, don't talk about the disappearance of Norman. Don't mention it. That's a cult.
It's a cult. It very much is.
I disappeared and nobody was allowed to speak about me. So the crumbling of that is in the ownership of what happened to me was the crumbling of the lie.
Yeah.
And I can empathize with how difficult that must have been for her to have to face. Only last year did my brothers and sisters, I call them my brothers and sisters, right? Her sons and daughters get in touch with me and say, it couldn't have been your fault, Lem. You were a kid. We now realise that. One of them's a doctor and one of them's a something or other. Yeah.
It feels a bit late to me.
It is late.
12 years old, there was no way it was ever your fault.
Yeah.
Come on, you were a 12-year-old boy.
But in the documentaries that I've made, I've had the social workers say, no, it wasn't, you were just an adolescent.
Exactly.
You were staying out late at night, later than you should have been staying out. You smoking cigarettes. You're doing normal adolescent things.
Exactly.
And they'd not had an adolescent before because I was the oldest one.
You were the eldest.
So, you know.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So my job in my adult life has been to actually to kind of forgive, find out what happened. That was the first thing. Nobody's admitted what happened. I had to work out, wait a minute, they must have gone back and told a different story to everybody else because nobody's been in touch with me. So by virtue of the fact that nobody contacted me, I had to ultimately realize, oh shit, they're not coming back. Nobody's coming back. And then I had to think, why would it be that nobody's coming back other than they've been told something that can't be true?
Exactly.
Because I've spent all my time in care and I've not turned out to be this horror, etc., etc. By the way, the care system, you know, there is a prejudice in society against kids in care. So the moment we were in the children's home, we would go to the local school and people would talk about our place as the den of thieves. They would talk about us as being, nobody wanted a children's home next to them, etc., etc. It was the weirdest thing to be placed into a children's home where everybody around the home blames it for dysfunction.
But isn't that the same as the pregnant mothers who are
absolutely
a danger to society?
Absolutely,
it's the same thing. You're a danger to society because you're not following the norm. It's so unfair. We talk a lot inside organisations about trying to create a sense of belonging. I'm just wondering, we never define what belonging means. When I say that word to you, because you've been in so many situations where you didn't belong or you thought you belonged and then you were told, no, you don't actually. When I say that word belonging, what does it mean to you?
It's great this because there's a new museum at the University of Manchester and I have a poem in there which is called I Belong Here. It's all about belonging.
Wonderful.
Do you know it? And it's all about belonging. So it's like what I've always known is that I think the good example is if I'm a writer in residence. I've been a writer in residence in various places, the South Bank Centre for 6-7 years, Canterbury for a year, etc. And I think it's about being in a place where you can express your true self. I don't know what that means, but where you can be who you are. I don't know. I mean, I do love Manchester. I live in London, but I love Manchester, and I love my local. I live in Clapton. I love the Turkish shop, which is just round the corner from me, and Abdullah who's there. And in fact, I got a text I was on the TV this morning on Sky TV, on Sky News. I got a text from another Abdul from Manchester, from a shop that used to be near where I live. Belonging, what is it? It's Well, I guess it's a sense that you don't have to leave and that nobody's going to tell you shouldn't be there,
Yes.
I guess.
Yes.
I guess. And yeah, isn't it funny? Because we've started this discussion on talking about communication, comms and stuff. And then my story comes in, and this always happens with my story. You know, it's got big old boots, hasn't it, the story? And it's like, boom, you know, it's an emotional kind of heavyweight. You know, it goes into the ring and it throws all other subjects out. Do you know what I mean? And I'm kind of good at other stuff. And my life has been, because my life has been about my story as well, I've had to adhere to the story. We spoke about vulnerability, and we spoke about, you know, people making judgments of my poetry being bad because I just do these 4-line tweets in the morning, 4-line messages in the morning. But it's the same with my story. There are people who would have said, oh, he's just selling his poetry, using his story to sell his bad poetry.
Oh my goodness.
You know, that's another critique.
Right.
But saying that, I'm really running away with the subject here, but saying that, I noticed that I can find lots of reasons why people may not like what I do.
Okay.
But the fact is that that's ego as well, actually. That's the ego as well.
I've seen you very recently on stage, and you were...
Oh, yeah, you have, haven't you?
You were amazing. You were mesmerising. I am desperate to ask you whether you have any kind of ritual or anything you do just before you step on to get yourself into the right place. Or are you so practiced now that that's not necessary?
Isn't this interesting? Because being really practiced means you can cut corners to a certain degree.
Okay.
But you can't depend on that. So the event you saw me at...
Yes.
I'm really glad you asked this question, because I went into the venue early.
Yeah.
And I checked the sound.
Yes.
I checked the sound and I checked the PowerPoint.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes, I do.
And I checked the screen and I checked with the sound technicians.
Yes.
And I got the sound so that it was as I want it. When I'm speaking to an audience, I don't like it when the microphones, you can hear the speakers.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
just take it right down so that the person in the audience can hear the voice, but they can't hear the noisy speakers that it's coming out. It's not tinny, you know.
Yes.
You just take it right down. Because the truth, here's the truth. The truth is that if people can't hear you, you should be able to see that they can't hear you. Okay? Even if the lights are on you, you know, you should be able to feel it at least.
Yes.
Actually. So, and I'm really into that. By the way, people come on microphones on stage and they will often say, I don't know if I did this on the night, but they will often say, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Did I talk about this on the night?
No, you didn't.
Okay. So they tap the microphone and they say, can you all hear me? Now, let me share something with you. They do that out of their own nerves. It's got nothing to do... Right, so that's the first thing. They do it out of nerves, familiarising themselves with their own environment. All right? It's like touching the microphone. It's the same thing. It's like, can you all hear me? I'm just Really, they're saying, I'm just orientating myself.
Got you.
I'm just looking at you all, so I'm just getting myself ready.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. But here's the thing, and this is a lesson in unconscious bias. Who can't hear you when you say, can you all hear me?
Well, if someone can't hear you, you're not going to be able to respond to that question.
The person who can't hear you can't hear you. And therefore, in all seriousness, you've frozen out the person that you are proclaiming to be including.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Right?
I never thought of that.
Yes. It's all sound and vision. That's all it is, you know. This podcast is an exploration of sound. But when you're live speaking in front of people, it's just sound and vision. It's without good sound, without good lighting, you're lost. So respect the text, man.
Yeah, very true.
Respect the text.
Yes.
It's the first thing I say to them when I'm up there, you know, when we're together in the room. I'm like, I'm aware this is all sound and vision.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like without you, I'm nothing.
Exactly.
You know, here, in all seriousness, you know? And And so can take 10, 15 minutes of getting the sound check right, looking at the lights right, looking at the room right, and going through the tech. Now, at that event that you saw me at, the tech went, didn't it? It
tech
smashed.
failed.
It smashed on the floor, and it ended up being a great gig.
Yes, it was amazing.
But it was what was great about it. The reason it was a great gig, in my opinion, is because I did that early work.
Yeah.
And once everything's ready, then it's only you can mess it up, then.
It's still possible, I know.
Yeah.
We talk a lot in our world about storytelling. It used to be that we were broadcasting messages at people, but we've all realised that actually the best way to actually communicate something is to share a story, and the more honest and authentic, the better, ideally. If I said to you, what's the ingredients of a great story, what would you say?
I thought about this earlier on, this question. Jeopardy.
Oh.
Jeopardy. Yeah, Jeopardy.
When something's hanging in the balance.
Wow. And I like the idea that the central character, maybe the person who's speaking, is the one who's, in the balance.
I love that.
I'm not saying they should be, but actually the idea that, for example, I didn't know whether this was going to go any good when I get up on stage, The idea of that is one that's worth exploring sometimes, not all the time. And not so that it's an affectation, but Jeopardy.
Yeah.
The idea this could all go wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that so much.
And stories, all our stories have got that. All stories have got that.
They've got that moment when it's hanging in the balance.
My God, all the great ideas may not have worked.
Yeah.
They needed a team, when you're fully invested in something, it might not work. I'm looking for obvious Jeopardy there, but I think Jeopardy in a story is a very powerful thing. It's great in documentaries.
Yes.
The idea that something may not work, or some conclusion may happen or may not happen.
Yes. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah.
And this story can twist away from that and towards it and stuff. So I did think about that. It was a great question, but I think Jeopardy is a very powerful element of storytelling. Will the kid who was brought up in care do okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
When they asked me on TV today, talking about stories on Sky TV, she said, "Oh well, you're clearly a success. You're a chancellor of this, and you were this and that, and you've got this, that, and the other." And I said to her, "But my idea of success is whether I'm well or not. I can look myself in the mirror. Given my experience, that is my idea of success." Makes me a high achiever, actually, because nothing can fill that gap like that process of knowing that I'm well, and that's to do with therapy and to do with well-being and various things.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's good. I find that to be a healthy place.
I think that's a very healthy place. The other things are trappings and nice, but not true happiness or success.
It's interesting though, because when someone is very inspiring, you are incredibly inspiring. My favourite question is, what inspires you? Because I don't think you can be inspiring unless you feel inspired, if that makes any sense. I mean, it's such a good question. Such a nice question. I've tried to stop using the word inspiring in my life.
Why?
And it's only now, when somebody says it, that I'm like, oh yeah, I've tried to stop using it. Because as a poet, it's a word that gets mentioned a lot.
Oh, right, okay.
Do you know what I mean? So whenever I try to stop using a word, years ago I stopped using the word busy.
Well, that's a good one to stop using.
but because it's like, how are you doing? Oh, I'm busy. And I was like, no, I need to find words to describe doing what I'm doing, because I love what I'm doing, right? So it's like the idea of being busy is almost a negative.
Yes.
And I'm like, no, I
see.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I'm so busy. And I was like, no, there's got to be. And so I took that, years ago, I took it out of my lexicon and it stopped being a problem, because it seemed to feed my busy head, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm so busy. It's like, and then I found other words to describe it. So the same with the word inspire. because I'm a poet, so it gets used a lot. But it's nice to be asked what inspires me.
Yes.
Not what I'm inspired by, but what inspires me.
Yes.
Feels like slightly different. I mean, how best can I? I do a thing called the Christmas dinners.
Yes.
I have a foundation called the Gold from the Stone Foundation, and we put on Christmas dinners for people who've been in care between the ages of 18 and 25. But hold on a minute, that's not it. That's not it. I do get inspired by inspired. Oh God, it's such a crappy word. Sorry, not you mentioned it. But I do get filled up.
Okay.
When I see how family works through not having it myself, I see it in action, and it just moves me.
Really?
Oh my God. It's...
I didn't think you were going to go there. That surprised me.
Oh, it's just beautiful. It could be the smallest thing. It could be like, I don't know, like a mother calling up the child or joking. Or it could be just the most innocuous. So it's something that I never had.
Yes.
So I see it everywhere, and I find it. I get inspired by people. I just find it so beautiful.
Oh.
So I'm inspired by that. And I guess I'm inspired by anything that makes a person feel fully included. I don't know.
Yeah.
That sounds. I get inspired by art and by, I think it's really important. I get inspired by the idea that creativity is not the monopoly of artists.
Right. That's great to hear. Does
It's
that mean we
so
can all have a
important.
go? Does that mean we can all have a go?
It's in you. It's in this podcast. It's in your questions. It's in your manner. It's in everybody. Creativity is not the monopoly of artists. Artists monetize creativity. But actually,
and judge it too harshly by what you've said earlier as well, I think.
Too harshly, yeah. But it is actually it's in everybody. It's in the seating. It's in this room. It's in the clothing that you're wearing, the colours. It's in the style of your hair. It's in, it's in our thinking. We are born creative, and we live like really inadequate lives because we're actually all mad as hatters. We're sort of
we should lean into that a lot more.
Yeah, we should. But we convince ourselves, we are told that we're not creative, and it's just, I feel. Oh, it makes me, narcs me after. Where was I? I was at some big creative event, and if I heard one business leader saying, "Well, yeah, I'm not a creative as yourself," but I was like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be in this vanguard of creative business leaders, and they're all reaching for this. Well, I'm not creative myself, but I am. It's like, no, it's not true. It's creativity is in a single mother, single father working out how to deal with a problem with their child. It's in looking at different designs for the wallpaper,
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's in pretty much everything. Look at this room. Without a creative, it would just, the world would be drained of all colour and design and sound and music. We go out and dance. The physical action of finding a room to physically move in. We are just gagging to connect with our creative selves overtly, but actually we don't realise that it's in our it's beneath our skins, and it's in our hearts. It's in our religions and our faiths, in our songs. It's in, it's in the soap operas that we watch on TV. It's in the running that we do with our headphones on. It's in the breathing that we do in the morning when we see the sunrise. I mean, we are constantly, if you take away the word inspired and you put in the word wants to be in a better mood.
Okay. Yeah.
We're consistently wanting to be inspired.
This episode of the Internal Comms podcast is brought to you by the Internal Communication Masterclass. I've condensed more than 30 years of experience and expertise into this unique, on-demand learning journey. Gain the capability, the confidence, and the credibility to turbocharge your career. There are 8 work streams in this masterclass, which you can buy individually or as one learning journey. Each work stream comes with a downloadable course book with some compelling homework tasks and more useful resources. Visit icmasterclass.com. Now, this is an entirely on-demand program, so you can learn at your own pace, anytime, anywhere. Plus, there's no expiry date, so you can revisit the content whenever you wish. And as a listener to this show, you get a 30% discount off each workstream or the entire masterclass. Just pop the code podcast in at the checkout. Stand out from the crowd, gain that promotion, and feel re-energized and inspired. icmasterclass.com. One of the questions I love to ask people as well is, what has most contributed? What personal trait or characteristic has most contributed to your success?
I mean, I've got to say determination.
Yes.
But that's determination not to believe what all of the signs to me seem to be saying.
I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? That's not like determination to...
No, it's almost contrary. You had to not believe, determined not to believe what you were told.
Yeah. In the things that happened to me. So it's sort of, as much as it's been gnawed at by big rats, there has to be this core of self-belief. I remember being in the children's homes and thinking, everything that's around me is telling me that I'm bad. But I must have been born good, because I didn't do anything for this to happen, for this amount of stuff to happen to me. So they can break me down as much as they want to break me down in the care system. They can take my family away from me. They can take me, but at least at the base, I know that I'm good.
Yeah.
So there has to have been, at some point, some self-belief.
Yes.
That would hold me together. Like, I talk about my poems being like flags in the mountainside. Sorry, I really don't like saying I talk about. Do you know what I mean? When you start going, yes, and I tend to say...
One of my favourite expressions
is... my favourite. It means you've done one podcast too many.
That's fine.
Oh my gosh. But flags in the mountainside, you know. A flag in the mountainside in the middle of the storm, and then I move to the next one, I put the next one in the storm, and I move to the next one, the next poem, the next the next... Yeah. And I can look back now and so I can see the journey that I've done. See the
journey up the mountain.
I can know that I'm okay.
Yes.
You know, and this morning on the television interview, sorry, I've got to mention it again, because she said to me, you know, and how has it affected you? You know, and this is when you're supposed to talk about your story. How has being in care affected you? And I said to her, I'm okay. I'm good. And it's like, that's not happened before. You know, I would often have to tell the story, and I did tell some of the story, but I am okay. You know, I'm just as messed up as the next person, you know.
Before I ask you the final question, there's a thread that you left hanging about 45 minutes ago.
Oh.
And that's your dad crashing his plane.
Yes.
Listeners are going to be very annoyed with me if I don't find out what happened when he crashed his plane. Was he okay?
So my dad did not know that he was my dad, apparently. I mean, there's in the letter, my mum does say she spoke to him, but there's people who also believe that he didn't know. Who knows whether he did know? Okay. But by the time I found him, he died in 1974. I found him when I was in 1995. Found out his name and found out where he was, and his plane crashed in the Simien Mountains in Ethiopia. And I travelled out to find bits of the plane still on the side of the mountain. Yeah,
you've got his jacket.
I've got his jacket. Yeah. That was 1995. That documentary was, and then a few years later, I met a lot of his brothers and sisters who were all basically in America because they had to flee Ethiopia after the revolution. Right. After the emperor was overthrown, and I was given this Steve McQueen leather jacket that my father
I've seen a photograph.
had, he was a pilot. And it's kind of cool.
I bet.
It's kind of cool. I'm part of a brilliant story. My father had a ring on his finger that was the same ring that Bob Marley had on his finger.
The same ring?
Not the
a replica of it.
A replica of the ring.
Yeah.
Well, Bob Marley's would have been the replica. My dad's would have been the real thing. It was because he co-piloted the Emperor Haile Selassie, so he was given a ring for doing that. Because Ethiopian Airlines was the vanguard of Ethiopian society, and pilots in the 1960s were the vanguard of the world society. So he bought his shirts in Italy, and etc.
I see. Cosmopolitan man.
Yeah, well, yeah, very, very much so. My mum was very cosmopolitan. She was travelling to England to study. She had no intention of staying here and didn't. They were very from very big families.
Yes.
And so he passed away. So by the time I found my father, and then I found my father's family, it's as if he'd left part of himself, because I looked like I was the same age as he was once he'd passed when I found them. So and I realised when I found my mum when I was 21. So I found my father's family when I was 29. I found my mum when I was 21, and I realised that when I found my mum, I looked like the last time she saw my father, which was at my conception. So I realised then it wasn't my story; it was her story. So all family stories
overlapping into
all family stories are the chance to understand from somebody else's perspective.
Oh, yeah.
And whether we do that or not is our privilege. Often when we have a family, one of the privileges of having a family is that you don't have to forgive, is that you don't have to see from other people's perspectives. You have the right to be selfish. But I didn't have a family, so I didn't have that right. So I've had to look at things through other people's perspectives, the mother and the father, and it's been a fascinating and is still a fascinating journey.
Len, we're nearly at time, but there's a tradition on the Internal Comms podcast. Every guest gets a billboard for millions to see. We will mock this up for you in Times Square, Leicester Square, wherever you like it. We can put it somewhere in Manchester, and you can put any message you like on your billboard.
Said the head to the heart, said the heart to the mind, the important kind of art is the art of being kind.
Oh,
it's mine. That's my line. One of my 4 liners. Said the head to the heart, said the heart to the mind, the important kind of art is the art of being kind.
Love it. Lem, this has been an honour. It's been a privilege. I've enjoyed every moment of it. It's flown by. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I've stopped doing podcasts.
He tells me now.
I stopped doing podcasts, so I did this one.
Thank you.
And I'm really, I've not stopped doing them. I have. Yeah, I get asked a lot.
I bet.
I've really enjoyed this one.
Thank you so much.
So that's because of you.
Thank you. No, it's been wonderful. Really mean it. So that's a wrap for this episode of the Internal Comms podcast. My thanks to Lem, my dear friends, Ange and Henry, that made this show possible. And also to the dream team behind the scenes, AB, who keep this show on the road week after week. And of course, my heartfelt thanks to you for being here. If you did enjoy this episode, please consider subscribing. We have some great guests lined up, including the Vice President of Communications for one of the biggest brands in the world, Coca-Cola. So until next time, lovely listeners, stay safe and well. And remember, it's what's inside that counts.